Thank you. First of all, thank you for the invitation to the conference. I'm really pleased to be here. And I'm happy that the discussion moved a bit to film education in general, not only to the use of documentary films in education, because the program I will present you is not only about documentary films, it's also about feature films and animation films. It's called Filmoteka Szkolna. We started the program in 2009 when we sent to all schools in Poland, middle and secondary schools, boxes of films, of Polish films. And we sent them free of charge, which is very important because we wanted to start a common film education in Poland, and we believed that it wouldn't be possible if schools would have to pay for the DVDs or for taking part in our project. Film was not very popular at schools because teachers were always complaining about the lack of time. So we had to push them to use films. That's why we sent them for free. At first, we sent them 55 films, and it was not just a catalogue of Polish films, but we divided those titles into several themes. So the starting point was that we had like 26 subjects, and we chose films that would be interesting for discussing those subjects. We wanted films to become a starting point for discussions about social issues, about cultural issues, and about historical issues as well. In March, we started distributing films online as well through our website, and we do that free of charge as well. Schools, teachers, pupils have to register on our website, and then after they log in, they can watch films. So now we offer more than 100 films to schools, and to give you a glimpse of what we present them. These are only Polish films, as I said, because we are Polish Film Institute. And I see that I didn't put the English titles, but I will translate that. There are films like Hydro Puzzle by Andrzej Kondratiuk, and The Lesson, it's Bitter Laugh. There are films by Andrzej Wajda, like Men of Marble and Wedding, and The Lessons are film among other arts when it comes to Wedding, and Crossroads of History when it comes to Men of Marble. There are also animation films like Sisyphus by Zdzisław Kudła, which is a new shade of myth. There are also documentary films like The Parade by Andrzej Fidek, and it's No Comments. The lesson title is No Comments. And there is also The Photographer by Dariusz Jabłoński, and the lesson is Records of Past. So as you can see, the subjects are really various and different. So teachers can choose whether to use those films on history lessons, on citizenship lessons, on philosophy, ethics, and we also wanted to give them a clue which lessons would be best by putting by dividing those films beforehand, but. Filmoteka Szkolna is not only about distributing films and by letting schools watch those films, but we also want them to talk about those films at school. And it wouldn't be possible if we didn't help teachers in how to use those films. That's why we help them technically, and we help them methodologically. And when I say about technical help, it means that teachers now can also distribute films for pupils. They don't have to watch those films at school, which is a solution for the lack of time at school during the lessons. Pupils can watch films as their homework at home. And during the lessons, teachers can just come back to film clips, to the fragments they really want to emphasize, the most important parts of the films. That's why we gave them this tool to cut fragments, cut clips from films, and have them on their accounts, because they are not allowed to download those clips. It's impossible technically, but they can save them on their accounts on the website, and during the lesson they can just come back and they don't have to worry about going forward and reverse the DVD or the videotape. And about methodological help, we of course we asked those teachers who already have a big experience in film education to write lesson plans so they know how to use films. Because the problem in Poland is that there are no subjects like methodology of film education at studies, at universities. So those people who want to become teachers, they do not know after finishing universities how to really use film in education. That's why we need to help them with those lesson plans. We also asked film theoreticians to write film analyses. So each film is accompanied by a film analysis that shows those films in a wider context, and that also makes teachers and pupils as well more familiar with all those tools that films use. So they can talk about films using more specific vocabulary. We also got permissions to use fragments of books or articles or film interviews, and we also published them online. What's important is that all those materials are available for everyone. Only if you want to watch films, you have to be registered on the website. Apart from that, all the materials are available for everyone, not only for teachers, also film educators working in NGOs can take them and they can use them for their purpose. And that's the core of that was the core of Filmoteka Szkolna program, to make those films available, because you won't watch those films in cinemas; they are not there anymore. But as in Polish Film Institute, there is no education department. Education team is part of film culture promotion department. We needed partnerships. And that's why from the very beginning we were working with Center for Citizenship Education, with Warsaw Film School, with Fundacja Generator, which is an association, with New Horizons Association, and that was the way to create a coalition for film education, because it turned out that we are inventing new ideas all the time. We are thinking what's really important, what we want to do, and we were looking for people who are doing that. And it turns out that in Poland there are so many institutions dealing with film education, and they are doing great work. And even between us, we didn't know about existence of those institutions. So we started that network, and now I think that we have an offer for not only schools but people in all age, for students, for old people, for people who love cinema, for people who want to learn how to make films, and for people who who want to talk about films and write about films. From the very beginning, we it was possible for teachers to learn more about history of cinematography, because that was something that they lacked, the knowledge about the history of cinematography, and we started a course for them. At first, they used to meet at cinemas in several towns in Poland, and then because it was so popular, we decided to move it to change it to online course, because we were recording the lectures of film theoreticians, and then we put them online so everyone could use that. We provide teachers with courses on how to use films on various subjects. And as well, at first, these courses took part in several cities in Poland, and then now we are giving them opportunity to learn through internet. We have a platform where they can spend 3 months with a tutor and go through all phases through all steps of the process, how to implement, how to integrate films in the programs that they do. We also started a project called Filmoteka Szkolna Kinoterapia, which is about cinema therapy. I don't know how it is in Germany, but in Poland it's that a tutor meets with his pupils each week for 45 minutes for a whole lesson, and they discuss sensitive issues like sex, drugs, alcohol, but also all kinds of abuse that happens between people and problems that occur between pupils at school. And sometimes it's easier to talk about those subjects referring to the characters from the film rather than saying that my friend did that and I didn't like it, or she has that problem. It's easier, they are not ashamed to talk about those subjects when they refer to characters they see in films. Theory is not the only thing. We also encourage pupils and teachers to make their own films, but as all pupils want to make their films. It's like if film education was only about making films, then all young people in Poland would be happy to participate. But to make good films, you should know some theories, like with reading book. You won't be a good writer if you don't read books. So you won't be a good filmmaker if you don't know history of cinema, if you don't watch films, if you don't know the language that film uses. That's why we started from distributing the films and making them watch the films. But then we also wanted them to be happy and to make films. And with Warsaw Film School, we do those workshops. Pupils from all across Poland come to Warsaw on Saturdays, and they have one-day workshop during which they learn how to act, they learn how to be a cinematographer, they learn how to edit the film, and they leave the workshop with a whole with a finished short film. So it's a real adventure for them. Filmoteka Szkolna is about films that are mostly quite old, and it's about Polish films, and it's not easy to convince pupils to watch Polish old films because they are black and white and they think it's boring, because also it's the problem with documentaries that they think they are boring. After they watch first documentary, they will change their mind, but at first documentary, no, we only watch mainstream films at multiplex cinemas. So we had to find a way to convince pupils to watch those Polish old films and to appreciate those films, because when they start watching them and when they have good teacher who knows where to start first, where to start and how to introduce that film, they will love Polish cinema. And all films as well, and black and white films as well, and documentary. And so we did film workshops for them. We also organized film competitions. They can write reviews. They can make their own films. But what's important, all of that stuff has to be inspired by the films that they will find in our catalog. We organize a film festival, which happens in June in Warsaw, and it's a two-day festival. On the first day, they visit National Film Archive. They visit film schools that are based in Warsaw. They visit post-production studios. So they can get to know what the film industry is all about. They can meet experts and practitioners and talk to them. On the second day, we organize something which is called a fair of projects, when we invite famous Polish actors, directors, film critics, and young people have possibility to talk about their initiatives to those people. They can ask for advice and have interesting conversations. And usually it's that when we call those famous people, they will agree to come because, you know, Polish Film Institute is calling and we give money to your films, so they won't say no. But they don't have big expectations of what they will see at the festival. But after watching the films that young people show them, after the discussions with them, they are really impressed by how those young people, by the work of those people, how mature they are, how intelligent they are, and it's really great. And it's very important for the industry itself to get to know their future audiences, and I think it's part of audience development as well, to meet those two worlds. And also I wanted to say about involving pupils that this year we started a project called Filmoteka Szkolna Studio, and it's more about being a journalist and making your own short document. Maybe it's not the documentary film, it's about a reportage. So we made, the young people made 13 such short films. They last between 3 and 10 minutes, and you can watch them online. If you go to our YouTube channel, you just have to write Filmoteka Szkolna, and one of the playlists will be about their short movies. So they learn how to do interviews. They also learn how to edit films, how to make them. And that's how film education looks like in Poland. It's very colorful and lively. Oh, I didn't say about one thing about city urban games as an idea for making young people interested in films. City urban game is like a walk around a town where there are several points where you have to do some tasks, and all those tasks are inspired by films. And we asked pupils to prepare those city urban games. We helped them to coordinate everything. This year in June we had those city urban games in 18 cities, so it was a really big action. It all happened at the same day. But pupils organized everything themselves. They organized that for other colleagues from other schools at the town, and in each town there was about 200 200 participants. So it was really, really big, and it was real fun, and it was really important for those young people as well, because they were responsible for something from the scratch till the end. And usually it was a big success, so they were very, very happy about that. I will just look at my notes if I think I said everything that I wanted. Now I will ask. I want you to watch a film that is part of Filmoteka Szkolna catalog. It's an old film. It's from 1984. It's a film by Marcel Łoziński. The title is Workshop. Workshop exercises. That's the first film by Marcel Łoziński made after the abolishing of martial law in Poland, and I think it's very typical of this time. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope. I'm really interested how you will see that film, and if you think it's good for schools, because as I said at the beginning, it's we don't show documentaries that were made with intention to be watched by young audiences. These are normal films, normal documentaries feature thought about audiences at film festivals as well. So I hope you will have a good screening. Thank you.